Hello and good morning and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson and I'll be your guide for today. Today we're going to channel through some information about the 1111 portal, which is a number that's already infused within our DNA. It's a wake-up call, awakening number. It is something that we start to remember or realize that we are the creator of our own reality, and how that actually influences us by the way that we shed our illusional self of the program. Hey Margaret in the chat bar, and Debbie, good to see you guys. Yeah, like it was really interesting. I'm like, okay, what do I just channel? I have a whole heap of messages here on my phone that I've channeled through the week, and then I'm like, do I just channel or what? And then right at the very last minute, I realized there was a few errors. The chat bar wasn't up on my YouTube and stuff. And I always feel like this sort of thing, especially because I am channeling and reading, is there for a purpose. So it's almost like right at the last minute, you realize almost the mistakes that you made. And then when you start to realize the mistakes that you made, you're like, I know how to fix this because I have fixed this in the past. So I've already learned from my past how to recalibrate, readjust things so that it works for the benefit of yourself and for all those around you. So yeah, right at the last minute, it's like, yes, I know what to do. That's so interesting. Yeah. Hey Nick, good to see you in the chat bar. Sasha, Sky, Arnie, my beautiful YouTube family. You're all so lovely. So there's a lot of processing happening at the moment with this 1111 portal. It's understanding too how you can up-level yourself. You want to create something that you become the powerful, authentic you in, or that's the reality that you want to come into, and the peaceful you. You know, when you can align with peace within yourself and be more authentic as you're moving through your world. So this 1111 portal, it's actually the 12th today here in Australia, but I still called it 1111 because, you know, the other side of the world's still on the 11th, right? So it's still, the energy is on Earth. It's interesting too. They're showing me like that the hemispheres of the brain, and it's shifting from one hemisphere to the other of our own brain, the hemispheres of the world shifting from one hemisphere to the other. So it's like a clearing up of the empowerment of the right hemisphere, and then shifting to the logical mind, and all those programs that it's held on to and what it needs to actually release. There's a lot of releasing there when it comes to the logical mind, and how we're working through our reality and what's actually serving for us and what's not. Taking back the advantage that all that isn't serving you is actually a mere reflection of how the world is actually working around you. So it's like looking at oneself through the eyes of the mirror of the world. In other words, what's going on in the world is going on in humanity's consciousness, because it's a direct mirror or reflection of our consciousness, wanting to shift and break free of certain programs, limitations, disempowerments, guilt. And there's a transition that takes place, because then there's an empty space created where the uprising of the feminine, powerful, I'm going to use my imagination, shift, create, move towards something completely new here scenario. But they're showing it like a spiral. I just want to get deeper into this. I feel like I'm just on the surface of this channel message. So it's like a spiral, but you know how in a spiral, you're still lapping the same sort of energy as you go around, because it's like a circle, but it keeps evolving up. Why are they bringing that up? They're showing me different colors or spectrums of energy, different colors, the rainbows, different colors or spectrums of energies. As you're up leveling, the same story might come around, and then you might realize, like we said at the beginning, I know how to shift this now. When you can do these things quicker, you're raising your level into a higher frequency because you're no longer bound by having to go through the story that repressed you for a lot longer, that made you stuck for a lot longer. So it's not that the story won't keep coming around. It's eventually it will converge into one beautiful scenario that you wanted to travel down, your soul wanted to travel through. But as we're going through this healing process, the same story might come up for you again and again, just so that you can have that, I know how to do this quicker. I know how to escape. Then there's no fear. It's kind of like Alice in Wonderland facing the Jabberwocky and going, I have no fear of you anymore because I know how to wield my sword. I know the power of myself. I know how quick I am. I know how I can work through these so-called limited stories within my mind on the concept of feeling victimized. It's stepping out of the victim because you know how to shift reality to your advantage so that you can progress. And usually it comes from an inner force within yourself of recognizing the power of who you are to be able to manifest the story you really desire. It's really interesting. So this 1111 portal, they're showing me 1111. So that's why it's like right, left, north, south, that sort of thing. 1111 coming together, and they're going 1111. That equals 4. 4 stability on this plane of existence, which is a field that we can work in a physical realm that separates us from everything. But at the core of everything, we come together as one. But now they're showing me those 4 turning into a square box, which has housed us, okay, in this reality. Seeing where they're going with that. It's conditioning, some sort of conditioning they're talking about. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Let's come together. Yes, it's a Taurus field when we go in. I actually just observed, and I think it was meant to be just before I came online, you know, a egg that was fertilized, and it was splitting into all of those different balls, but then it literally went within itself, and it kind of, and this was like, microscopic, true look at it. It wasn't like a cartoon or anything that someone had drawn. It was an actual video of this happening, and you could see it literally creating that torus field. And that's when everything merged and created the body or the avatar of that soul of the person that was going to come into this world. And now they're saying it's like the opposite of that, where we've been separated into this world and now we're learning to come back together. Because all is one at the central point when it comes from a soul. When you come from your soul as the observer looking at yourself, you can recognize that everything outside of you is an extension of you. Therefore, if there's an imbalance outside of you, it still means that there's an imbalance from within you. And that's why we can see it as a reflection of the mirror, the 1111. What is reflecting ourselves? What is containing ourselves, like that box or that housing? We are changing the program to acknowledge a part of ourselves that we had repressed so that we could find out more about the separated world. And when we come to that understanding, there is no judgment or anything on anybody else's reality. The other thing that I was led to was a bee and how a bee sees a person. They had a real filming on how their eyes are visualizing. Not, I don't know if they how they could see how their brain of a bee actually works to be able to recreate this film, which they did, because even though the eyes would reflect a certain specific thing, the brain is going to take that information. And if it's a bee's brain, that program of the brain takes that information and turns it into what the bee perceives. But they were telling me through that there's trillions and trillions of different perspectives on this planet, just trillions. It's all portals within different perspectives. And it does depend on the observer observing. So when you're shifting your reality from within and you're starting to say, I'm no longer going to be the victim to this reality, all of a sudden, you're not magnetizing the perpetrator to you, because the perpetrator is only seeking in its energy field the victim. So when we annihilate ourselves from being a victim and say that we can step into this world through the power empowerment of ourselves, and this is what the 1111 portal is trying to awaken us to, we are literally moving into a port. We're literally shifting timelines. We're opening a portal within ourselves to be able to reflect back a whole different energy field, and that energy field is now reflecting the co-creators, the ones that already understand that all outside of them is an extension of them, and that then the co-creators come together. Now, in the flux of humanity's consciousness dipping in and out of, no, the logic has to be in charge, and oh no, we can co-create, and no, it does, it still will come up with that same story. They're showing me that spiral again of us going through that same story as we loop around. But that same story now, like they said before, is quickened because you understand that, oh, I stepped into the victim of myself now. I know how to get myself out of this. So it changes it up very quickly, and then it shifts the story. And those that can help, that will align with you being empowered in your own empowerment, will stay, hang around, shift themselves. And those that can't will fall away quicker. And so you might see this dip and dive in your actual day-to-day reality of, oh, I dipped into, say for instance, you go on Facebook or something like that, social media, and then all of a sudden all of your posts are reflecting a war zone or something negative and something that you, well, then they're asking you to even use that. That's your extension of yourself and what you're bringing in. So look at yourself, and are you actually feeling a victim in this scenario? Are you feeling disempowered in this scenario? Because it's a lot quicker to bypass those things. You're not even interested in them anymore. When you are empowered and seeking or aligning with the energy field that is aligning with what you want to co-create, or you want to create with. And that is a field within yourself. Now, every single person is going to have a different field within themselves of expectation of what their soul came in with. Where what they actually want to do when they are here and experiencing this 3D world, and how to awaken and what their missions are, and even just to find peace of mind or whatever, or do you become a famous chef or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But we all have our different alignments with where we really want to go. This is where the adventures start, and they're showing me now the figure of 8, and then we can not only co-create with others, but we can also say, hey, I like to have a different adventure. Let's see what this person's doing. And then for a moment, because you have become more empathic with your environment, you can feel into what they're creating and see if there's parts of it that would you could help with them and they could help with you. So that's how the soul groups are starting to align and come together. It's a whole other way of thinking or being, because we're no longer just looking outside of ourselves for something to tell us who we are and where we should go and what we should do. We are now feeling within ourselves through the clarity of the mind that's no longer taking advantage of us and us giving our power away to it and saying, no, we're going to use it for a benefit of ourselves in imagining and bringing through the story, and then focusing on the platform that we want to create in a physical term that will align us with what makes us so happy to be here. And so so then you'll end up manifesting in this world a business that aligns with you. This is shifting everything as well, because when there's quite a few of us doing this, we start to see businesses that are coming up that are asking us to trust each other as well. They're taking me to, things like house sitting and stuff like that, which I've just found a beautiful house sit myself. So excited. And yeah, and it's like a trust game now of we're trusting each other with our property, we're trusting each other with businesses and stuff that we're interacting with. There's no longer, there's not enough time for us in our logical mind to put a whole heap of rules up and sign here and contracts and all that stuff. It's just like a yes, I'm online. That person's got the technique or the ability to do whatever that I need in this moment. And then that person says, hey, my fee is blah, blah. Have we an agreement? Yes, boom, and the job is done. So that alleviates a lot of red tape, and that's because of the mirror reflection of our logical mind finally starting to relax and not having to feel like it needs to control everything. So now we have these online businesses that are coming forward. They're actually showing us, see how much we have actually improved. If you have a distrust within yourself of that, then you're more likely to choose the ones that would be the perpetrators. So see, it still comes back to yourself and how you're aligning with the next story and the next story, and no longer seeking support that is an ongoing thing for the rest of your life, which has actually created a stuckness. It's now step by step as we move through our life, we are freed up to change and shift and that gives us an expansion of the soul to grow. And so we can, go live somewhere as a house sit or something, and then choose another place or travel or save money and do this, and it just changes everything. The storyline has changed from I need to hoard a lot of stuff and hoard everything, which is what the logical mind was doing before, remember, by hoarding all the memories, and then it would keep us stuck because we would be replaying those memories over and over. So this is like a lightening of the load as well. This 1111 portal that we're stepping into and asking ourselves, what do we really want to manifest here? Do we want to be freed up to expand into our soul? Well, then we have to have a lot of faith and trust in the moment that we're actually living and how we're feeling and as we're moving through that. And so it's a whole other game that we are being pushed, sort of pulled into rather than pushed into, through, and it's an expansion awareness where we are trusting and relying on our outside reality just as much as we are, because we have faith within ourselves to align with the right people and the right time and all that sort of thing. Yeah, thanks, Nick. I'm really excited about that, the house set, and it's really interesting because I felt stuck when I was just about to sign on the dotted line for another place that I told you about a few months ago. This is how it's all shifting. And then I felt this, something doesn't feel right. And I'm like, but it's giving me safety, and but it doesn't feel right. And then, yeah, something happened, which was really quite humorous, quite funny. Yeah, the person that I didn't know that I was going to move in with hit on me. So I'm like, okay, well, that's the end of that. Because, you want to live with somebody. Yeah, anyway. And so that I shut down, and then I opened myself up to trusting my empowered self, to finding the right place. Yes, I went through moments of anxiousness. I'm not going to lie. And then I felt clarity. And every time I felt clarity, things were showing up for me. And then I just went, right, this is it. I got pushed and I went, this is it. I need to really empower myself here. And then boom, the idea comes through because I stopped being a victim of my life. House sitting, and then there was a 2-month house sit. It's so cool because I needed a space to live before I went to New Zealand, because I'm going to New Zealand for my parents' 60th anniversary. And then I have been asked to go to New York to channel live on stage, by the way. So that's all in the pipeline at the moment. We'll see where that one goes. But see how spirit was like, or my feeling of needing to be freer led me in the right direction. And it's feeling really good now how this is all playing out. I feel safe because the universe is showing up for me as well. As soon as I got the idea in my head, boom, it happened really quickly. And I'm helping out somebody else who really needed help too. So isn't that just awesome? I love this. It's a whole other game though. And so it is vulnerable. And there can be that vulnerable feeling, that shaky feeling like you've just stepped. Remember, I used to channel about stepping up onto a new platform. You've shed a whole heap of life and you step up to a new one. When you're just there, it's all brand new, right? So it's like starting a new job. You feel vulnerable at the beginning, but you stick it out because you know that this is the right place to be and the right place to move. So yeah, that 1111 portal is really teaching us what we are focusing on. We are going to manifest, we are going to create, but the focus has to come from a self-supported system, a self-supported acknowledgement of who you are. That brings you closer to source energy, but closer to love of self, closer to love of all. And then within that, the story starts to develop around you in an outside way that works for everything, for everyone. And so we're now starting to learn to trust. I mean, I have to trust this house sitting lady. This lady has to trust me. We did a Zoom call. We really like each other. It's really working out well. And it's locked in and we trust each other. We have to have that. No contracts, by the way. See, it's just, I mean, there is a little bit on the internet that you could say, but it's not, it's not a fix. Whole heap of red tape. You have to sign here. You have to do this. I can take you to court. All this sort of stuff. That's just dismantling, because we're learning that our real faith is within ourselves, and it's huge. It's huge. Yeah, I like that, Nick. Every breath in and out is an integration. And you can shift things very quickly like that too. That's why they ask you to bring yourself back to your breath and breathe. If you're feeling anxiousness, breathe and bring yourself back to the moment. And that will integrate or align you with a different story that you want to integrate into your reality, because now you're not focusing in on the problem, you're focusing in on the breathing. It brings you into the moment. Yeah, it's very fun, a lot more fun. Thanks, Sky. uh, okay. Yes, everything is working for the benefit of us all when we start to recognize our own power. And it's quite interesting because many, many years ago, a few decades ago, I went through all this and I became extremely empowered within myself, where I become gifted in premonitions. I was aligning with the creation of my story, and money would come to me when I needed it, and everything was just lining up. And then I moved to Australia and I lost it, and I whirled back down into a self-deprecating scenario, victimized story, having to clear a lot from things gone by, and that sort of past energies that were catching up to me because I wasn't living in the moment anymore. It took decades for me to cut. And it's interesting though that the ride that I've gone through, they did it, my soul did it this way so that I could lose myself to bring myself up in real time with these energies that were shifting many of us, so that I could tell you the stories, be vulnerable, tell you my stories as well, so that we realize we're all doing this together. And I can honestly sit here and say, when you're flipped into the other side, your mind is clear, so much clearer and peaceful, and you just know things, and you're no longer afraid, and you take greater leaps of faith into things that you would never have tried out before. It changes your whole story to shift into absolute self-empowerment. It's really cool. And so I know where I'm going. I know that's that feeling. But I'm also wanting to level myself with with as many as I can, knowing that these videos will go far in the future. It's something to do with, and everyone in this chat bar has had some understanding of what I'm talking about, because I mean, you wouldn't be here otherwise, would you? So we are the awakening ones of those to come through our collaborational energy, understanding each other. So something I'm channeling this through, and I'm like, okay, so we're a collective. We are already a collective. Stop trying to seek that which you are already. Put down the seeking tools and know that you are. That's another interesting message. You are already part of the value of your reflected outer world. You're already that. That is you, and you are that. They're bringing me to that figure of 8 again. And they're showing me a pyramid like Giza or something, and then they're showing me an etheric pyramid at the top. Really interesting. So it causes a cross. They're bringing me to one of the biggest shifts in my spiritual life. I had a shamanic journey with somebody, and we lied next to each other and just had the backs of our hands touching, and then drums were beating on a tape. A tape, that's how long ago it was. And we both went into a meditation, and I saw myself going through my life story, and I also saw myself merge into an eagle and becoming an eagle. And then the eagle had written love on all the feathers that were falling to the earth. And when I come out of it, she said, "Oh, your shamanic animal is a sea." And I'm like, "Sea? No, you're going to get this wrong." And she goes, "Sea eagle." Oh my God, it is me. I saw the eagle. So yeah, now they're bringing me to that because straight after that, there was a crack that happened within my pineal gland or myself or my energetic field because I'd opened myself up to more empowerment than almost I could handle at that moment. And sometimes this might happen with some of us that are watching this too, where all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my God, I'm psychic, I'm all this." And I had this big X coming down on me, and it shifted me from I was in the thick of the mainstream, trying to struggle to get out, to getting just hundreds of messages, waking up and seeing things and beings and all sorts of things, just hundreds of them. And that lasted all the way. So that was around the age of 27 and it's also when I found the gold bracelet and everything. It sort of all happened around that same time all the way through to around 50. So I had the span of 23 or so years, 20 years of a lot of visions and messages and really interesting stories that I could tell you. And then at 50, the cross came back to me again in another big vision. And I saw somebody put their hands over their chest like that and then lie across me as if they were dying. And I'm like, "Oh my God, here we go again. Another spiritual death that was going to awaken me to something else." Then after that, I didn't get hardly any visions anymore. But what happened was I was waking up in that alpha state. Oh my God, the profound messages that were coming through me. And then I wanted to honor them. So I created videos. And every second week, another message would come after I created the video and put it on live. And this is how co-create the videos, Codes to a New Reality video came about and how I started this whole real channeling instead of sleeping and seeing things. I was getting in the moment messages, starting to get in the moment messages. Then my life pushed me through a narcissistic, horrible breakup to going, "That's it. If this world isn't for me, I might as well do what I want to do." And that was like go live channeling and just throw myself in the deep end. So I did. And see how it pushes you. So this 1111 portal is transitioning us, and it can feel quite daunting, but it's going to raise your bar into a whole expansive reality that you are going to shine in because you're going to start to realize, oh, it's what I decide that creates. It's got nothing to do with what other people tell me. And it shifts everything to your expanded reality, which brings through messages and gifts that you've had from your past. So, for instance, when you were in a past life where you had gifts and you suppressed them because the masculine shut them down in you for a reason, now they can all be open. And so, this is a moment in time where things can open to your advantage. Gifts can open to your advantage so you can use them, wield them in your day-to-day experience of life. And you'll get these ideas flashing through. And then it'd be like, usually when you got those ideas flashing through when you were in the thick of being repressed or suppressed, you would just go, "Yeah, no, that's never going to happen," because the fear would build up from your logical mind of what had happened in the past, and it would shut you down so that you won't even try to do that. But now there's this whole portal or doorway opening that it's because you've done all this shadow work and you know how you cleared that. that when it comes up again in this 1111 portal, you're like, I can use that now to my advantage. I can actually step into creating that. That's so much fun. And so you start to create a lot more in your reality that actually represents who you truly are in an authentic way. So then the businesses are going to grow that are more authentic to humanity being in balance. And that literally shifts the whole of reality, because those businesses that are only standing up on an outside acknowledgement will crumble away because they don't have any empowered self. They're only reliant on someone who would be the victim to be able to control them. And so there's no more victims, there's no more perpetrators, there's no more controlling systems, and everything starts to shift in our reality. So they're giving us an opening or understanding of how this actually works, so that we can feel safe, because I'm seeing this in my reality happening heaps, where I have girlfriends that are starting to post up things that I know are part of their past life. Like they're creating things that I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. And they're just doing it because they want to do it. And I'm looking at my through my eyes as the observer, and I can feel into the energy. I can see that that's going to build a business in the end, because they love it, and it's so good what they're creating. It's so good. So see, it just naturally flows that way. So cool. So cool. Okay, what else have we got here? Expansion of humanity. Okay, 1111 portal that's opening up. What's on the other side? Serenity, serene feelings. That's really, they keep bringing me to, also at this moment in time, a dream that I had where I stood in another reality. It's a higher dimensional aspect of myself, or where my soul has been. And before me was a golden ocean, and there was many, many different animals, fantastical animals, all co-creating together, converging, understanding, living their own separate lives. But there's sorry, something to do with that golden energy. I had to cross through it. It was like creation itself emerging to get to the other side, to become the observer of Earth itself, so that I could be higher, like I was in the orbit field of Earth, and I could pinpoint through like a map, like looking at Earth like a map of things that needed to be adjusted. So there's something to do with the light workers in this 1111 portal that are learning to adjust energies on Earth that are needing to line up with, because they've adjusted it within themselves first. Then they raise their level of awareness that they could see Earth. See Earth as a place that they could heal through their own self-healing, and just it's kind of like they're not, is it infiltrating or bringing down their, or moving the energy through that field to be in that field, and their own healing automatically heals or touches everything within that to heal that. So we might be relocating. Not obviously, honest. Makes sense to my journey anyway. What else? There was something else coming through with that, the observer, and then they were bringing me to, The four beings that I saw in a dream that came to me with premonitions called the CYANIANS, high-end Pleiadian beings. There was a message there as well to do with them, and that as the observer, healing, there will be the seekers will, when the GOV falls, just don't want to say the word in case they pull this down. We know how to spell GOV. When those fall, when all that falls, then I think they said either the seekers will be appointed. And this is one of those transitional moments through this 1111 portal where they are appointed, and that's what that story was about, becoming the observer from your healed aspect of self, being able to observe Earth, find out what needs healing, the spots on Earth is as a locational field of humanity's consciousness. It's kind of like humanity's consciousness in that location needs more healing. And so as a light worker, you might be asked to go to that space to actually hold even more frequency, to heal it even more, because the value of the location is needed for our progression. And as a reflection of our own minds are that where we are seeking those neuron paths that want to be awoken from past lives that have been retained or repressed. When they are awoken, and it's exactly the same. It happens in a timely manner of awakening that part or aspect of humanity's consciousness that has been repressed. And they're also telling me there are things that are repressed that we haven't even touched on. Some of us have imagined because it's closer to them, but it's not. It's a field that majority of humanity is really forgotten, like really literally forgotten. And so it will be reawoken again. And they're saying that there's going to be artifacts and reflection of our own awakening within our own neuron paths and our past lives, and reflection, and the world will start to uncover things in certain locations that have capabilities that science can prove nothing of, because the soul and alignment of the soul to that actual object will awaken the object, because the object will see what is the inanimate physical thing of a soul that needed to come into alignment and observe that object, for that object to awaken to its full power, because the soul that's seeing it is awakening to their full power. It's really interesting. So it's guiding us to, in other words, way back, say in Atlantis, Lemurian age and all that, there was souls that carried codes within them that worked with objects, like actual objects, crystals, things. Then with the fall of Atlantis, those things were buried on Earth, and the soul was then taken back to, say, Pleiades or wherever it needed to have gone, either for lesson or for just being the observer again. And the soul waited for a specific time to either come back into Earth or to awaken as a human in the human form, to become that code again, or awaken that code within them again, or remembrance within the imagination that was held by the soul's frequency. Then the logical mind will acknowledge it. And when the logical mind acknowledges you and your power, you will naturally magnetize or relocate to go towards that which was hidden under the earth, and you will find it, and your observation of it reawakens its power. So you now have that substance thing as the power of who you are. Amulet, they call it amulet, something to do with that. It's very important to specific things that will awaken, because it's shifting. They're showing me neuron paths in the brain that are just sparking, DNA that's just sparking, light that's just coming in, remembrance of all this empowerment is huge. It's so interesting. That's why there are those that prophesied way back that things would be uncovered by specific souls. Yeah. It's pretty out there, but cool. Yeah, it is wow, isn't it, Sky? It's like, wow. And it makes sense because even in an inanimate even in an inanimate object, and they have been bringing this up in my mind a lot about inanimate objects. Actually, we observe them, we give them their it's kind of like that's the reality. It's an extension of us. Like the glass of water is an extension of us. But I could just like Dr. I always get his name wrong, Inamatu. I kept getting his name wrong. I'll never get his name right. Where he could put energy into water. Water would remember that alignment of that frequency, because we are the observer, but we are also entangled with the water, because the water is held within our bodies. And so it's a closer understanding or mirror reflection of all that is around us, including that which is a physical thing. It aligns with that quantum physics field of particle, or being the observer is the thing that creates, changes things from a waveform into a particle form and into an actual substantial sort of, thing. But when you break it all down to energy, you realize it was all a dream. It was a dream within a dream. And we're actually training ourselves at the moment, and many are training themselves to lucid dream. But the ones that are really going to make an impact are those that train themselves to lucid awakening, to know that they're creators of their own reality. Just like when you're dreaming and you're taking control of your dream and creating within your dream of where you're going to go, same happens when you're awakening. You're more consciously aware of everything that you are feeling, how you're really feeling, how you're moving through this world, is coming back as a reflection to you. The more empowered you are within yourself, the more that you have no fear, the more that you can move into that which your soul really loves you to do, the more that you will find the gifts coming your way, because you're aligning with the soul that you want to soul. You're aligning with this source energy, the creation outside of yourself that you always wanted to create. I think I said that right. Literal goosebumps, Nick. Yeah. Sometimes I do. I give myself goosebumps when these channel messages come through. It's so beautiful. But they're also reminding, like all of those that are watching, how amazingly incredible you are to align yourself with these messages. Because I don't really, I just put it out there. And whatever happens is meant to happen. That's how I see it. Okay. We're also going to awaken parts of us that are going to see messages within the ordinary, where we once saw it as ordinary, we will start to see it as extraordinary. In other words, like they're showing me, a power shell, like power, just the color of the power, right? That's in this kiwi. There's there is magnificence and understanding so much more within that. The convergence of the colors that are coming together in that way, it has it has messages that it's collected over the lifespan of the power, but also the energetic field of that to be in existence as our reflection. And wood, anything, everything. So we start to see life differently through different eyes. Now they're bringing me to the bee again and how the bee was seeing humanity. So in the video, the bee was showing up as we were just like these little kind of like starlights of energy, and we were kind of morphing in and out. We weren't even completely there to the bee. We were sometimes like our hand wasn't complete. Everything was just light frequencies, little pinpricks of light morphing in and out, but kind of showing the outlines of a human body and then not again. It was interesting. I'm not saying they want me to bring that up because when we expand our reality, we start to see things in this different perspective through the eyes of different perspectives. And everything outside of us carries these portals of different perspectiveness and on earth. I'm making up words as I go. And trying to get these messages into a word. I have to make them up. But because of the different, every single thing that sees things differently on this planet is a portal within itself, that humanity, because of their understanding of everything, of seeing everything as they see it, but then changing their way of their perspective, opens up them to be able to connect with them, with the animal, and how they see life. So can you imagine? It just expands everything. And then they're saying, so that's the inner energetic field. But then there's the outer energetic field of now, because of that, we merge with many different beings on different planets because whatever happens within happens without, and in the bigger macro, and then in the micro, even within the energy, even within the field of the energies, when we're coming from reality as an energy base. So your expansion within becomes your expansion without. So it just multiplies. It's just like to the power of, right? And all we have to do is come back into a balance to be able to align with this. All we have to do is come back into balance for ourselves and acknowledging those aspects of ourselves that we were repressing, that were making us feel trapped. The acknowledgement of that is going to open up everything. That's why they're showing it as quite a quick flip, but we have to be prepared for this flip. This is why channelings like this is coming. Otherwise, the logical mind will have a brain fart, won't be able to handle it. And then you'll feel like you're going nuts. And that was the other thing that they brought back to me when I opened up that proverbial gateway after having the shamanic journey and seeing the sea eagle. I also felt like I was going a little nuts, and I rung up the lady and she just calmed me down. Like, you're okay. You've just opened up something more. A new aspect of yourself that was repressed before is being opened. So now we're like that vulnerableness again, and we just have to get used to it. And I feel like this is one of the biggest reasons why I'm house sitting for the next couple of months, out there, because it's going to be a place where I'm just me, and I'm going to be able to have time to really integrate this newness of what I'm opening up to as well within these channel messages and other gifts. So if you ever find yourself in a place, ask for for it all to come the same. I already perceived the shift, and so asked for I trusted and asked for my soul to move into a space that was going to align with this. And for you to ask for that to happen as well. I need to trust and align with myself to be in a physical location or a locale that I can handle this. This is the timing for me to do this, X, Y, Z. And so all of a sudden, say for instance, your partner might go, hey, I'm going to take the kids out for, a weekend or a month or whatever, or a few days, whatever. It doesn't matter how long you need. And then they'll leave you. And then you can just kind of come back to yourself and use the time to come back to yourself. And you're no longer like trying to control everything. Oh, why don't you invite me? No, you're seeing it for the advantage of what it is. It's a different story now. Everything is happening for you, not against you. When we start to see it as everything's happening for you, then you are moving with that, where everything starts to work for you as well. Yay, we made it. I like that. Ramali. That's really cool. Masaru Emoto's experiment. Thank you, Celtic. Gratitude with water. Lovely. That's so cool. So cool. Okay. That's one thing, like, I really fail terrible. My logical brain's like, oh my God, these words that are coming up, do I even know? Sometimes I'll channel messages and I'm like, I look up the words to see if it actually works with the channel message because I'm like, it's not in my logical brain. I really fail terribly at English. But I think it's really good because now that that's happened, it's actually given me insight to the fact that I'm channeling. Helps. Mind you, I'm expanding, my logical brain's expanding the awareness of lots of different things as well. Okay, I just picked up some cards. I never pick up cards. I'm going to do just a couple of, these are fifth dimensional cards. Let's do that for the 11. What I'll do is do 1111 portal tarot reading on Thursday as well for you guys. But they want to just bring through a message now, otherwise just automatically pick them up. And as you know, this is just meant to be for channeling, so we'll go with that. Messages. I feel really gentle, like a gentleness coming through with this. You know you're on the right path because you're more relaxed and feeling more gentle with yourself. Star ancestors. Oh my God, it's the pyramids. Hidden secrets, lost wisdom. Look a little deeper. See, this is what the 1111, just to give you this confirmation of what I've been talking about. We've got the pyramids that I was talking about and the etherical pyramid above it, which is expanding us into energy. We have the star ancestors, the hidden secrets that are going to be unveiled. Oh my God, lost wisdom and look a little deeper. So this pretty much sums up the 1111 message that I was just giving you, just to give you a little bit more insight into, and they're also showing me up that, see the doorway portals within you. This is like representation of the pineal gland. Walk into it, lean into it. Okay, I don't know where exactly I'm going with this, but I'm going to lean into it. When you go into your meditation, let your imagination lead the way, because it has a lot of information and wisdom. Just let it lead. Don't have anything else but allowing your imagination to show up things. And it can flicker in and show you stories like that. You'll know when it has the absolute because the storyline will go smoother, won't chop and change as much, and you will lose yourself within it. So you'll just be in the flow of it. So then when you come back out, okay, we have to write this down. We have to remember this. We have to implant it into my long-term memory banks, into my logical mind, because it could become something of needing for you, sorry, could become something you need in the future, for whatever reason. And look what's on the next one is a new earth. I love this. This is so beautiful. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. Oh my God, guys, this is so beautiful. We are doing this. This is happening. And it's all because you guys did so much work on yourself. I am so freaking proud of us all. It's not been easy. I know it hasn't. It is so cool. This is just so perfect. And you add, oh my God, what can I even say about that? We are merging Atlantis and Lemuria with the masculine era of production and the physical world together. We're merging them together. And who knows where that's going to take us, right? It's going to open up so much more, where magic's going to surprise us with miracles. And also the physical world is so tangible. We're literally infusing more love into the physical world so that we can have a better experience on this physical plane of existence. Such a confirmation. So beautiful. Okay, guys. I think I will leave it there. I love this energy and I love you guys heaps. We've been part of this whole new story and where we're going to go. Don't forget, I do lives on Thursdays, and that'll be 11:11 portal. I'm also an intuitive counselor and a reader. If you want to have a one-on-one meeting with me and through Zoom, just click the link below. And also AMAKEL, my beautiful school. I've just put up 2 really cool intuitive planet videos where you kind of go to different planets and just use your intuitive skills to choose what planet I choose, sort of thing. It's fun anyway. Like you're on a spaceship. It's a bit of fun. And I will also put up some more quicker dice games as well, which I'm getting prepared at the moment. And yeah, we'll see what else comes up with that. If you do the lessons, there's a really cool lesson. The lessons are higher tier, they're the silver tier. The lessons also have signs and synchronicities and stuff. I will be bringing in some more lessons. Just give me some time because I'm moving as well. But I want to keep the games rolling as much as what I can through this transition. I'm doing the best I can with what I have without depleting myself. Thank you. Love you guys. Until next time. Bye.